Hey, good morning. How are you? Gotta get my lip balm here. I feel like I'm getting in the habit of starting every video by putting lip balm on. I used to follow someone on TikTok that did that, was always doing lip balm on her videos. She was a comedian, and I am not a comedian, so don't expect the funnies from me, but let's get started. Today is Tabata Thursday. I love Tabata Thursday. Do you guys love Tabata too? We're gonna do like glutes and core. Maybe a little bit more core. I have a big workout to do tomorrow, like a big running workout to do tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit in my head about it. I'm a little stressed. My eyelashes are a bit crazy right now. I gotta get those done. It's in my head a little bit, but you know, it's good to do things that scare us, right? Anyways, I'm training for something that scares me, so I really do need to do stuff that scares me. However, what I was gonna say is my legs are a little tired from this week, from the workout we did Tuesday. Is anybody else feeling their legs from Tuesday? And I ran yesterday and today I was like, oh, my legs are feeling a little beat up. And I got a big run tomorrow. So let's beat them up a bit more, right? No, we're gonna do a little bit of legs, a little bit of core today. Can never have too much core in our lives. So as we get started, I would love for you, especially if you're on TikTok, because you're just jumping on, catching my video. I'm here Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday mornings at 9:30 to 10:15 doing live workouts. So you can join me anytime if that time works for you. Some of you just join and listen to me blab for the 45 minutes, which is fine. You're welcome to do that. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. If you're joining me to work out, let me know where you're joining me from. I'm live on TikTok and I'm live on Facebook. And then after I'm done, I post the recording to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, I think, has somewhere around 500 videos now on it. Workout videos, completely free, all from, you know, that you can do from home. If you go back far enough, you'll see I lost 21 pounds last year. But when I started, I was, you know, a little bit fluffier. I started from the bottom. Now I'm here. No, it's the Drake's words. If you're in Canada, I started at the bottom. I don't know, what is the words from the Drake song? I started at the bottom, now I'm here. I don't know. Anyway, I was in a really, I was in a low. I was in a place where I was like not feeling too hot about myself. I had let myself slide down to a place where, you know, it was not in alignment with where I saw myself. So I had a lot of shame around where I had slid to, and it was COVID, and I just decided one day, either I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom, or I gotta start climbing up out of the hole that I had dug for myself in terms of, now you might go back and watch those videos and think, oh, what is she talking about, right? Because it's all relative to your own self, but it wasn't who I thought I was at the time, right? Like I was, you know, prior to getting to that place, was in really good shape, probably the best shape of my life. I had some health challenges, some health issues with regards to adrenal fatigue. I basically overtrained, underate myself into like an enormous health deficit, and went from, you know, really starting to do really well in my ultra marathons. You know, I was kind of clawing my way into a place where I thought I could maybe compete if I chose the right ones. I could really maybe be sort of good at this. And then the bottom came out and I could barely even run, right, at all. And so it was devastating mentally, but physically, I could not figure out how to claw out of that hole at the time. You know, looking back, I needed a good long rest, not like a week or two, like probably a good 3-month reset of my body. But I didn't know what was going on at the time, and so I just kept pushing. I just kept taking a little bit of rest and signing up for stuff. You guys, I read something the other day, and I'm working on a post to share with you, but somebody wrote, I failed my way to success. And I thought, I can relate to that because I went through a few years of DNFs, we call them in running, do not finishes, did not finish. I dropped. I kept signing up for stuff and dropping. Initially it was physical, and then it became mental. I just lost motivation and desire. I don't know if you guys have ever been in a place where you know you need to stop doing something, but you want to do it, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but like sometimes it's a relationship. You want things to go well, but you just in your heart is not in it anymore. That's the place where I was at. I kept signing up for races. I'd get there. I didn't really want to do them. I just wanted to do them because it's who I thought I was. And so I wrote out a list the other day of all the races that I dropped from. There was a whole bunch. And I started to feel really foolish because I thought, people look at me like, why do you keep signing up for stuff and not finishing it, right? And my husband had some hard words for me. You know, don't sign up. You know, do what you say you're going to do. And I wanted to be able to will myself through, and I just couldn't. Anyway, eventually I hired a coach, and he helped me get my physical health back. And then I just didn't have the mental health at the time, right? So I had my physical health back. It wasn't the physical health I had before, right? Because simultaneously, as I dug that hole for myself in terms of my training and my nutrition, I was starting the early sort of years of perimenopause. And so I just never got back to the place that I was at, and it shattered all of my confidence, and I just didn't feel like I could do it anymore. And basically I manifested exactly what I believed in, which was I can't do it. So long story short, other things came into my life. My focus went to them. I just sort of put my running and my training and my health and fitness aside, and I sort of got out of shape, and I gave up on my disciplines, and I gained a bunch of weight, and I became a wino. And one day I thought, and I realized I don't have any clothes that fit. And I was getting ready to go to Florida in a few weeks, and I thought, I'm gonna have to buy all new clothes. And I definitely don't want to put on shorts or t-shirts or tanks. And so I thought, either I gotta go buy all new clothes or I gotta smarten up. And so I started these workouts, and I didn't really smarten up, but I did start the workouts. I continued with my bad habits for a little while. My iPad is freezing. Anyway, for a couple years, I did those workouts. They got slightly better. They did get slightly better. I signed up for my first race in years, the 200-mile race. I basically wanted something brand new to try that I couldn't compare to my old self. So I chose to do a 200. And looking back, I had no intention of finishing it, just like all the other ones. But funny story, I got about halfway through the race to the point where my plan was to drop. I was going to get to, maybe 100 miles, which is my previous longest distance. If I could go further than that, I wanted an excuse to quit that would justify, it could justify to the rest of the world. Anyway, here's what actually happened. I was out on the trail and I had a crew with me. I had a big crew with me. I had my daughter, I had a friend, sorry, I had my daughter and 2 friends. One of my friends was male. And so if I was to drop from that race, I was gonna need to get 2 hotel rooms, one for myself, Kathy, and my daughter, and one for my friend Mike, because he's a guy, he needs a different hotel room. We're not gonna share a hotel room. We're all married, things get weird. Anyway, I thought, I can't afford to drop from this race because I can't afford to go book 2 hotel rooms for the next 2 or 3 nights till we fly home. And that's why I finished that race, was because I couldn't afford not to. I thought as long as I stay on the trail, I don't have to pay for a hotel. And crazy, right? Like my friend Kathy said, that's not actually why, that is 100% why I finished that race. All right, we are gonna start with lunges. We're doing Tabata. My iPad is really temperamental today, so this could be interesting. But the blessing in that was my confidence came back. And last year I came across an eating program that helped me drop 21 pounds of that perimenopausal, menopausal weight. And you guys, I will honestly say, I feel like better than I felt back before all that stuff started. Because I have so much more mental strength now than I did, and I also have an appreciation for feeling good, right? When we're young and we feel good, we just kind of expect to feel good. When we're older, we lose our expectations, right? Okay, take my watch off. So we're gonna start with back lunges. Trying to decide, yeah, I'm gonna use these dumbbells. They're sitting right here, why not? Right. Oh, they're heavy. Okay, we're just waiting for the clock. Once it buzzes, we're gonna do one side only. Now, if you're new, you're not gonna use weights. You're gonna just do this without weights. I might end up doing this without weights too. But you're gonna step back into a lunge. One, we're not counting because we're gonna do 20 seconds. Okay, so stepping back into a lunge, making sure that front knee does not go beyond that big toe. I thought these were my 15s, but they're my 25s. I have to go down and wait. Now, if you are brand new, like I said, you're gonna do this without weight. You can also stay in a lunge and go up and down like this, if you're new. The key when you're new is just focus on showing up. That's all you gotta do. You can take as many breaks as you want. I always say, be new as long as you can, because as you get better, your expectations go up. Okay, other side. So we end up doing four sets on each side. So enjoy being new, take breaks. Anything I'm doing that does not feel good to you, you can change, you can modify. Marching on the spot is always a great alternative, right? If I'm doing something that doesn't feel good, march on the spot. You could do bicep curls, you could do air squats. I think we have one more of each. No, we're only halfway done. Goodness. We got 2 more on each side to do. Keep that head up if you can. Sometimes I feel I gotta look down because I gotta see where my feet are. Strength training will change your life if you're a perimenopausal woman. one of the big shifts I made in the last couple of years, 2 big shifts. One was diet. It was big results. The shift was primarily learning proper portion sizes and proper ratios and timing of foods. That was the big change. I don't know if you ever feel, oh, I'm doing all the right things, but I'm not getting the results. That's kind of how I felt. Like I was eating. Now, I wasn't eating great. That's a lie. But at one point I was. And I didn't feel like anything I did was working anymore. So I sort of threw in the towel and abandoned ship and adopted all these bad habits, which obviously didn't help my cause. But that program, you know, if weight loss is your goal, I would encourage you to reach out and let me help you with that, because it can change your world. But the other key change I made, you know, I'm a distance runner, as I sort of shared. I stopped doing quite as much cardio, and I started doing more strength training, right? Which I hated at first. It's funny because we all like to do what we like to do. All right, that's round 1. Right, we all like to do the things we like to do, and we want to avoid the things we don't want to do. It's funny because I'm coaching, I'm doing the strength and conditioning for a, trying to decide what weight to use. I'm doing strength and conditioning for a 15U baseball team right now, and we did 3 different phases. We did like intro to strength training, where they worked out with dumbbells and free weights. Then we taught them how to barbell train, so lifting heavy, and now we're doing strength and plyometrics with them. So we did kind of a full gamut. So in that, our next exercise is 747s. Okay, so we did the full, anyway, of one kid on the team that just wants to lift heavy all of the time, and he does not want to do anything else. I'm like, dude, this is baseball. Like, you're an athlete, you're not a power lifter. If you want to be a power lifter, that's great, then maybe you should quit baseball next year. But in the meantime, what we need to do is work on athleticism, right? And it's like, it's funny, it made me laugh, because it's like runners, they just want to run. They don't want to do the other training. The reality is, when you hit middle-aged years, right, you got to not just strength train, you got to do mobility work, you got to do you know, rolling and self-care. Like, there's a lot more maintenance work involved, and we resist it. And I watch people my age running, and they're always injured, and they're always broken, and it's because they just can't understand that you have to do this stuff so that you can run, right? Diet becomes more important, protein, like, there's so many factors. So you can either, and honestly, if I go back to the story I was telling you, where I was kind of a broken down mess, that's what I needed. I needed all those other factors. But, you know, when we're young, we don't have to do that stuff. We can get, or I shouldn't say we don't have to, we can get away with not doing that stuff. When you're in your middle-aged years, it's necessary so that you can have a good experience doing the things that you love, right? So now I can run really strong, not very fast anymore, but not that I was ever that fast, but faster. But I would say I feel whole, right? And to me, that's what we're always after. We want to feel whole. Feeling whole is a combination of a number of different things. It's having the physical strength, it's having the mental strength, and it's having the spiritual strength, right? And so, as I've gotten on in years, I talk like I'm 90, but I'm 48, I learned, you know, to be always working on all of those other things. The more you work on your mind, you know, the more you see how much it impacts like everything, you start to really feel a separation from other people. I noticed it in my life, like people that I used to really connect with, now I realize, you know, I don't, because, so I'll share something a little kind of spiritual with you guys. I've been reading Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. This morning, I'm in the final chapter, which talks about fears. And so it goes through the various fears that we have. And one of the keys is identifying our fears, because we're really good at hiding, disguising them, right? We're really good at disguising them from ourselves and saying, no, I'm not afraid of anything. But that fear manifests itself in different forms, right? Anyway, so I'm just at the beginning of the chapter. It's talking about fear of poverty. But there was a couple of paragraphs that really struck me today. And one was that, I'm going to mess up the verbiage of this, but one is that we cannot create in the physical world what we cannot see in our mind, right? So to be able to see an image in your head of something has to happen before it can happen in your life, right? So let's say right now for you, for example, you're wanting to lose weight, you're wanting to be fit, you're wanting to be strong. But if you actually think about yourself becoming that, is that hard for you to see, right? Is it hard for you to see yourself fit, healthy, strong, able? You see other people like that, but is it hard for you to imagine yourself like that? And if that's the case, you need to work on being able to see that for yourself. If, you know, your financial situation is what you're trying to improve, can you see that situation for yourself? If not, you need to work on that, right? Because you cannot, activity completed. You cannot bring something into your life that you can't first see. So that hit me hard, right? And then the other piece is that we're all connected. If you believe that we're all connected, he talks about an ether. I don't really understand what the ether is, but he talks about an ether. Okay, it's gonna be a little bit of upper body and core at the same time. He talks about that essentially, and so it didn't really make sense to me, but in this regard it does. When you actually will internalize other people's thoughts. So people's thoughts will enter your thoughts, and you will internalize them either involuntarily or voluntarily. So what that says to me is, like, you got to be really, really careful about who you're listening to, what you're watching, what you're reading, who you're spending time with, because their thinking becomes your thinking, whether it's voluntary or involuntary. Their thoughts cross your mind. So what that looks like is, if you hang around people who believe that only, like, okay, I'll give you an example here. I'm thinking in terms of money, but let's talk about weight loss, right? All your friends love to go to the pub, or their idea of a fun night is sitting around drinking wine and eating, right? But if you're trying to get fit and strong and healthy, you want to do something. You want to do a marathon, or you want to do a triathlon, or you want to do something. You want to walk the Camino Trail. You want to do something. And everybody that you spend time with, really, that's not their cup of tea. That's not what they do. Then your thoughts, your behaviors are not in line, not congruent with where you want to go. But yet those are the thoughts that are making their way into your head. Feeling that today. And infiltrating your belief system. Now, if you hang around with, so if I hang around with baseball parents, let's say, most of them, they don't do the stuff I do. So I'm odd, right? Like, I'm different than the rest of them, like, right? Like, they go to the movies for fun, sleep in on the weekends. I'm not criticizing, it's just not in congruence with what I want. And so it's hard for me to live that lifestyle watching everyone around me not. Now, if I hang around with other people that do what I do, you know, we all do the same thing. Their belief system becomes my belief system, right? So if I'm hanging around with people that are running 200 miles, then I have a belief that people do that. But if I talk to baseball parents, they're like, you're gonna do what? Right? And so what Napoleon Hill's saying is that other people's thoughts, beliefs, will go into your thoughts, essentially. He words it quite a bit more nicely than I did, but oh my gosh. So the solution to that is be very careful about who you spend the most time with. If you're, you know what I watch a lot? When I'm with my husband, we watch some entirely different stuff. But when he's working, he's on nights right now, I watch YouTube videos of people doing crazy, extraordinary things. So my mind believes in that stuff, right? Oh, he's not interested. That's not his goal. So like, he doesn't want to watch people running 250 miles. Am I making any sense? So, we do have, you know, choice. Napoleon says the one gift that we were given by our creator, or whatever that looks like, is the ability to we have 100% control over our mind, right? Animals don't have that. We're the only creature that we're aware of that has that ability. But you gotta learn to use it. Oh, I'm so glad that is done, because that was really hard for me. I'm not a huge fan of those. All right, sorry guys. Just signing off of TikTok. All right, that was 3 rounds. We got 3 more exercise sets to go. So we're gonna do an actual core one now. We're gonna do core hollow. No. First we're gonna do side plank. These are, I'm trying to do these daily right now. I've not been good this past week. Trying to do a lot more of these. I don't know why I grab these mats. I have an actual nice yoga mat. I'm gonna use that. I used to grab my like puzzle mats, I call them. All right. I'm gonna give you a couple options. If you're a beginner, you're just gonna do side plank, hold. And this is what it's gonna look like. You're gonna be on your knee and you're just gonna lift up into side plank. If that's too easy, you take your bottom foot, put it behind your top foot and hold it like that. And then if that's too easy, you're gonna do lifts. We're gonna do 4 on one side, and then we're gonna do 4 on the other side. Okay, ready? You can also stack your feet like I am. You can stack your feet and hold, or you can stack your feet and lift. I saw a TikTok the other day saying these are one of the best core exercises. So I was like, I need to start doing those more. I don't know if it's true or not. You know, TikTok it is crazy, the stuff. I mean, the cooking. Actually, I found a guy on YouTube that has some really cool stuff. You guys can follow me because I basically take what I find, I experiment, and then I share with you. So I'm gonna try making a protein cookie today, see how that works out for me. Oh, we were supposed to do one side and one side. All right, I messed that up. Well, let's do 3 on this side now. It makes it a lot harder. Now let's switch sides. I'm just in the mood to switch sides. Sometimes it takes my clients, I said I'm on to you guys, it takes you so long to switch sides that you end up cutting into the work portion. So they laughed. So I'm on to your games. Halfway through, 2 more each side. You start because the timer keeps freezing. I think we got to knock off a few seconds off that one. Got this. Keep going. Almost there. All right, 1 more each side. Feeling your core. Last set this side. What you really got to ask yourself, Napoleon Hill talks a lot about 2 things in terms of achievement of a goal. The definiteness of purpose and the desire. And so, you know, what I would say is you got to first, and this is hard for a lot of us, and again, this is one of the ways that fear disguises itself. What do you really want? What do you desire? You know, Napoleon Hill uses the word desire all through the book. It's like, what do you really, really want? What most of us do is we think, what do I want that I think I can get? Right? Which is totally different than what do you really, really want? We're gonna do bird dog and dead bug. Close this out. So we're gonna do 4 sets of bird dog, 4 sets of dead bug. Let's start with dead bug. Are you guys drinking your water? Let's try to get through a gallon of water a day.
Activity completed.
My first, do you guys know that you lose fat through urine? Did you know that? I did not know that. How have I been in personal training my whole life? Did not know that fat was lost through sweat, respiration, and urination. Did not know that. Somebody taught me that recently. I didn't believe them, so I Googled it. It's true. Not that, you know, Google's always true, but in this case, you know, it's not like I just saw it once. I mean, it was all over the internet. I just never knew that. Okay, so if you're new, I want you to start with just the leg, okay? And if you're, so you're alternating legs, sorry. If you're new, there's a bit of coordination involved with this. You want to press that lower back into the ground. If you're new, you're just going to do the legs, because I'm telling you, it takes some coordination to do this. Your opposite arm, opposite leg, okay? So get your legs first before you add the arms. What you want is just that arm and leg to move. It takes core control. So you're going to push the back into the ground and pull that belly button in to stabilize your torso while just your leg and your arm move. It's not a hard movement. It's not a hardcore exercise, but it's a really effective one. It's one I used to do every day. Like I said, it's not like you don't tend to get the core burn from doing this, but it gives you core control, which is one of the best ways to train the core. Is you want it to act like a corset, right? A corset. You want it to stabilize the center of your body so that your limbs can move freely, which is sort of the point. I think that was 3, right? Hopefully, we're gonna do one more set, and then we're gonna switch over to bird dog, which will be the opposite. We're gonna be on our hands and knees, and again, you'll start with just the legs before adding the arms. Flipping over. Okay, so you're gonna alternate legs. I want you to really squeeze your butt. I'm gonna do my arms, but you can start with just legs. So you're just bringing that leg out behind you, straight. Now I'll tell you, I couldn't used to do these. You know why? Because I couldn't bend my feet. I couldn't point my toes. My feet could not extend like this. They always had to be like this, because they were so stiff with, we'll call it arthritis. I don't know what you want to call it. They just did not bend. One day I was just like, I can't bend my feet anymore. I don't know what happened. That was not ever a thing before. One of the things I notice every time I do a 5-day drop, I've done 2 now. I'm hoping to do 1 more soon, is the inflammation in my feet goes away. I have a little bit right now, not too much. They bend, like nothing like what they used to just not even move. They were like, I used to have a client that had so much trouble with their feet, and I could never understand it. And then I got that problem, and I was like, oh wow, now I feel bad for all those times being so frustrated with her. But see, like I couldn't do this. I couldn't bend my feet like that. So I couldn't kneel on the floor. Is that it? No, we got 1 more. When I did the 5-day drop at Christmas, that was one of the things I noticed was, holy crap, my body felt amazing again. I feel like I could really use a 5-day drop next week before I go to Florida, just for that inflammation release. So I might see if I can squeeze that in. This is a really good one to stretch out your plantar. If you have plantar fasciitis, or if you have problems with your Achilles or your feet, this is a really good stretch to do. So we're gonna finish with core hollow. We're gonna do all 8 rounds as core hollow. I'm going to show you a couple options for this one. Anyway, my gallon of water a day. And that's not, like, releasing fat's not the only reason I do it. I do it for a lot of other reasons too, but I try to spread. So I have a 5, okay, so let me show you different. This is option 1, okay, option 2, option 3, option 4. So I start my day every single day. The first thing I do when I get up is I have a big, huge glass of warm lemon water. Sometimes 2. So I'm not allowed to have anything else till I have that warm lemon water. Coffee, I can't wait to have my coffee, but I don't even take a sip of that coffee till I've drank, a big glass of warm lemon water first. So that gets me in at least 500 milliliters right there is the water I have first thing in the morning. And then I try to get through another liter by the time I'm done this workout, right? So I'm up at about 5 o'clock. I have my glass of warm lemon water, and then I try to finish another liter by 10:30 or so in the morning. And then my goal is just to get in another liter by mid-afternoon, and then another liter by dinner. Definitely putting my Revitalize in my big jug, my liter of water. I can drink that like literally in one because it just tastes so good, and something about it just makes it go down so quickly. Breathing through, make sure that back is pressed into the ground. If you need to lift your knees up to get that back, you don't want that back lifting. You want to press that. Okay, I knew that was a long one. My timer is all messed up today. Pressing the back in, so you want to use that core. Burning. That was definitely longer than 20 seconds. This thing is messed up today. Yeah, it was. Well, the good news is it's gonna, 4 minutes is gonna be done. Well, no, it's still 4 minutes. It's just we're holding our core hollow longer. I'm resting my hands on my head right now. That's one thing you can do to make it a little easier. This definitely will make it easier. Bring your hands to your side. I'm trying to do the full. If you're feeling it in your lower back, you're probably not pulling in your core. This should be the last one, I think. Breathing through it. Again, you can come up if you need to adjust. Just make sure that lower back stays pressed into the floor so that you're pulling that core in using your abs, not your lower back muscles. I think that was the last one. I'm not sure. Apparently not. Apparently we have one more. This has got to be the last one. That's got to be the last one. Oh my God. There's no way. Oh, this is the last one. Okay. It's like, what is going on? Are you guys counting these? Did we do an extra? Or am I going crazy? I'm probably just going crazy and can't count anymore. Breathing through it. All right, that was the last one for sure. Okay. Just a little happy baby to finish. Because it feels so good. Rock and roll up. And that is it for today. Thanks for joining me. I will see you all next week for one last week here, and then we're going to Florida. So then it'll be on location. See you later. Take care.